Very, very well. So just wanted to do a quick video as it is the the Easter break coming up this weekend. And I know that a lot of you guys are probably taking off work because of the kids being off from school as well. So it'll be a very, very hectic week, I would say, for quite a few of you guys, and as well, a lot of you guys are away on holidays, away for a break as well, which is absolutely incredible, and I am super, super jealous. Okay, so let's just get stuck into this then straight away. So first things first is to just be as consistent as possible in your plans that I have obviously given you. Just to be as consistent as possible over the next week leading up to the Easter weekend. And as I say, I know that life's going to be very hectic with kids being off school and stuff. So just trying to stick to it as much as possible, but don't beat yourself up if you don't hit everything in a single day. So and plan in some events as well. With the kids, get them out, get active, get out, get some walks, scheduled in, or go and do some fun activities. Or don't be that parent that sits and doesn't do anything. Get active with your kids. Play with them. Plan some activities that you can also join in as well, and have good fun and still be active at the same time. So, but as I said there, the main thing is to be as consistent as possible. That's what it's all about. This whole program is all about being as consistent as possible, because the more consistent you can be, the quicker you are going to get results. Be consistent is the first thing leading up to it. Then after the Easter break, once you have enjoyed a few Easter eggs, once you've done all the Easter parties, get right back on it, get right back on track. Or say maybe you do have one bad meal, or well, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Not there's no such thing as a bad meal, but say you go off track over on your calories, say for one meal, then get right back on track again by eating a lower calorie meal the next meal, or a healthier meal. So, like for example, if you end up having, say, I don't know, like pizza in the office for lunch on Thursday, then then when it comes to dinner time, maybe just have like a chicken salad or something like that, just to sort of balance it out and make up for it. But um, because it's all about moderation as well, and just finding that balance too. So that's a tip there. So just whenever you are off the track slightly, just try and get back onto it as quickly as possible. That's what it's all about, really, in your journey, on your weight loss journey, on your fitness journey, on your health and fitness journey. It is, we're all going to go off track, all at some stage in our lives. Life's full of ups and downs, but it's how quickly you can get back on track again is the difference between a person that's going to progress and a person that's not going to progress. Because most of the time, people, whenever they go off track, they just go, they just go way off. Say, fuck it, well, sure, I'm off track, and that's it. But if you can learn to, go off track and go, okay, I'll just come back on again here in the next one. So, and this could, it doesn't even have to be like your next meal. It's like, right, okay, well, I sort of went over my calories there at lunchtime more than what I thought. So what I'll do is I'll get out for a huge walk then, whenever I get back home in the evening time, to make up for that, and have a lower calorie meal as well. So that's going to, trying to find that balance in between everything else. So second one there is to get straight back on track as soon as possible. Then the third one is to be active. I've already talked about that there. So just to be as active as possible, around the Easter holidays, schedule in some long walks, or schedule in some fun activities that you can be active. And whenever, like, if you're doing Easter egg hunts for the kids, instead of letting the kids run about trying to find Easter eggs, why not try and find the Easter eggs with them? So that's like that could be a good tip there as well. So you could be running about trying to find Easter eggs too, and you have no idea the amount of steps you can accumulate from doing this here. You don't even think about like the amount of steps you're doing. You'll be running about, and the next thing you're like, oh fuck, there's 10,000 hits. So that's a really good way to do that as well. So just to be as active as possible, or scheduling a quick 15-20 minute workout here and there if you can't get out for those longer walks. But as I say, the key is to be as active as possible. Just be mindful as well of the amount of activity you're doing too. So, if you find yourself on the couch a few times, just count to three and on two, jump out, jump off the couch, and just get out for that walk. Even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, it's better than nothing. So just stay as active as possible. When it comes to Easter eggs and treats, opt for smaller Easter eggs rather than going for the giant Cadbury's Easter eggs or the giant Mars Easter eggs. Why not just get yourself a smaller Easter egg? So then, you're less like if you have the giant Easter egg in front of you, you are going to eat the giant Easter egg. Whereas if you have a smaller Easter egg in front of you, you're going to eat the smaller one. And if you eat the smaller one, you're going to eat less calories, and you're not going to overindulge as much. So again, it's all about like what you put in front of you. I'm reading the book there at the moment, and it talks about like portion control. If you put a bigger portion in front of people in any sort of meal, they're more likely to eat the bigger portion if it's set in front of them. Whereas if you're limited to a certain portion, you will eat it and still feel full. Whereas if you have like say a buffet and like you're able to have endless amounts of food, you're going to end up eating more because you have more options. Whereas if you can sort of limit your options and keep the portion sizes smaller, keep the eggs smaller, then you are less likely then to overindulge, which is it's a great tip not even when it comes to Easter, when it comes to anything really. And when it comes to all your meals, if you overestimate, then you're more likely to go over. Whereas if you can, limit your portion sizes, but that's a slight bit, you're less likely then to overindulge and go over on your calories. So, go for the smaller eggs, or even like. You don't even have to have egg, like the big chocolate eggs. Maybe like get a packet of mini eggs, or like go for the little Cadbury's cream eggs or whatever. Have a couple of those instead. These are going to help to save on some calories rather than going for those giant eggs. But if you do go for the giant eggs, then what you could do there is break it up and share it out with everybody as well, rather than you eating the whole thing. But the main thing is, or the next one, sorry, is to fill up on protein. Through with all your other meals. Like if you're going to Easter parties, say, like for breakfast, have a good high protein meal, or any other meals between, and if you're going out with family events and stuff, try and fill up as much with protein. As I always say, protein, makes you feel less hungry all the time, makes you feel fuller for longer. So the more protein that we can get into our diet, then the less likely then we're going to overindulge on the Easter snacks, the Easter eggs, and as well fill up as well with lower calorie, high nutrient foods like your fruits and vegetables as well. So that's another really good way to try and let's just say control our overindulgences of chocolate over the Easter break. Another thing as well you can do is if you do end up getting a lot of Easter eggs and you have a lot of treats left in the house, instead of keeping them in the house, which means you'll be more likely to eat them if they're in your environment, in your house, is to bring them all to work, bring them all to family events, and share them out. Try and share them out with other people rather than keeping them in your house. And if you have them sitting there in front of you, again, you're going to be more likely to eat them. Whereas if you can take them and share them out with other people, then you're going to eat less of them. but the main thing is to be mindful. Be mindful of the amount of treats you're having. Maybe set yourself a bit of a limit and just say like, right, okay, I'm going to have an Easter egg, but that's it. And instead of wolfing it into you, instead of like you know instead of not enjoying it, like take a time, take a moment and like really appreciate, enjoying that treat, enjoying that Easter egg. And that's as again, it's being mindful of these treats and being mindful to enjoy yourself as well. It's it's a time of year whenever you are going to be spending a lot of time with family because you're off with the kids from school, and you'll probably be doing a lot of family events over the Easter break. This is a time to really enjoy yourself with your family, and to not feel guilty about eating certain types of food, not feel guilty for taking that time off work. It's a really good time to be present with your family and enjoy every single moment with them, because you never know what's around the corner. So really take this time to appreciate having the family there, and to enjoy that time with them, and enjoy the chocolate as well. Like it's it's Easter time. Fuck, like treat yourself, have a bloody Easter egg. Don't restrict yourself. Like say, oh, like I'm trying to lose weight, I'm not going to eat an Easter egg. Fuck that. That's boring. Like who doesn't want to eat chocolate? Who doesn't want to eat an Easter egg? So don't restrict yourself. Don't be that. Don't be the person that's going to restrict yourself and you're going to stay away from your cravings. Have the chocolate, enjoy yourself. That is the main thing as well. And also, these events tends to be a lot of alcohol consumed too. So what I would suggest there is as well is to be mindful then again of the alcohol you are consuming too, and just go for the lower calorie options like your wine, like your spirits, and then you can enjoy these here as well, guilt free as well. So yeah, so that's the main thing then as well, is just to like be mindful of what you are putting in your body. That is a really good point there as well. So guys, hope this is going to help you over the Easter break, and yeah, it's go away, get yourself an Easter egg, and really enjoy yourself. I want you all to really be grateful and appreciate being able to spend time with family. It's the most amazing thing in the world. So I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic Easter weekend, and I'll be in touch with you in the group.